my sweet little babies. Welcome to Casuals, the sports podcast that tries its best not to bore you. We're really trying to do sports for people that think they don't even like sports, because sports are for everybody and they're fun. Real quick, I'm going to pure yap today, like a real yap, because news broke. I love when news breaks on a Thursday after an episode comes out. I really do. I love when earth-shattering sports news occurs on a day when I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys until Tuesday, which is what happened here. Because Thursday morning, a bunch of people, 34 arrests across 11 states, a gambling scandal is now rocking the NBA. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and NBA guard Terry Rozier were among nearly 36 individuals taken into custody by the FBI on Thursday in connection with investigations related to an underground gambling ring and illegal sports betting. Billups was allegedly involved in illegal poker games across New York, Miami, Las Vegas, and the Hamptons. You know, all my favorite places to go. I'm being sarcastic. Two of those cities I famously talk about hating all the time, sorry. And then the Hamptons and New York, that's kind of the same. The Hamptons are in New York. But it's allegedly tied to the mafia. And not just like, you know, the mafia, like the mafia. Pretty crazy. I watched that press conference. First thing I'll say about this is when you hear that this is happening, they were like, oh, press conference, I think was at like 10 a.m. I was like, well, I'm up. I'm getting ready for my show. Let me pop on the press conference. I'll just go turn the TV on and go to ESPN. I go to ESPN, it's Get Up. They're not talking about it. They have the Bussin' with the Boys guys on, and I'm like, there's no way, even if they do start talking about it, that this is the analysis I seek. So it's okay. There's many ESPNs. I go to ESPN2, and I don't remember. It was something, but it wasn't the press conference. I go to ESPN News because I'm like, this must be why this channel exists. When the news is breaking, boring, I know, not catering to the Gen Z and Gen Alpha 6, 7 of the world. If I hear that one more effing time, by the way, my head's going to explode. Old people doing 6, 7, I never want to hear it ever again. But so I go to ESPN News being like, this must be where they put the boring stuff. Slippery stairs. Remember when I told you guys about slippery stairs? The ESPN The Ocho thing where a bunch of people try to make it up a set of slippery stairs. That was airing at 10 a.m. on ESPN News. I was like, where is this press conference? I found it on the BBC. So ESPN never took it live. Now, listen, I don't work there and I don't run the business. Clearly, that company and I disagree on strategy. So who am I to say? But they didn't find it was important to take the FBI director's press conference live as they were announcing that an active head coach in the NBA was arrested that morning, as well as a guy who they had investigated for similar claims in Terry Rozier and had cleared him. They thought, we'll just catch them up on what happened. We'll just tell them the rundown, which, fine. That was just the decision that they had made. But in that press conference, they started naming some of the people who were involved in the investigation. And I was like, I don't know. It just felt like something when you're talking about people who found out the mafia. Maybe we give them some anonymity. Maybe we don't tell everybody about exactly what's going on. Since the news was announced, I mean, we're days removed from it now. I want to pick up sort of where we're at in it. Pablo Torre, friend of the show, finds out famously. He's been finding out and keeping people updated on other names that might be involved. According to his sources, Pro Football Hall of Famer and former Chargers tight end Antonio Gates hosted and played in an allegedly rigged Miami poker game that was organized by Curtis Meeks. Meeks was indicted by the federal government on Thursday. He was one of the 34. Also, it reminds me of something we talked about before, which is Gilbert Arenas. In July, former NBA player Gilbert Arenas was charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business, and 1 count of making false statements to federal investigators. He was indicted on July 31st. And is accused of, I just said, and his was with an Israeli organized crime group. So we've got a lot of organized crime connections to the NBA. I will also remind you that what we brought this up for before is that Gilbert Arenas went on his podcast and said this.
Hey, y'all, good luck in court. Hey, man, because I'm pretty sure I ain't going to be there when it's time to go, because, yeah. Yeah, I'm snitching. I don't know your name. What's your name? Igor? Yeah, all right, let's write that down. Igor. Yeah, he did something. You look like you guilty.
Still, to this day, makes me go, what? It's also funny, I saw on one of the news stations, I don't even think it was somebody had on 2 former, mafia bosses. And I'm like, are we doing this? I think Colin Quinn has a joke about mafia guys with podcasts, where you're just like, this feels antithetical to the whole thing. But, we're in a new era. So keep an eye on Gilbert Arenas, and hopefully he'll be doing okay. During last Thursday's installment of his show, Gil's Arena, after the news came out, he danced to the set carrying a brown paper bag labeled Informant Lunch.
Hey, how y'all doing, baby?
What's up, big dog? Info.
Informant.
Oh, let's say info on there.
Informant? No. This is lunch.
It's funny till it's not, right? I don't know. Are we messing around with the mafia like this? Is this, I don't know, kind of wild. I will say it feels like we are not in a good place to receive news like this, because the weekend was spent on social media. Chris, I know you're not on. That's where people all gather to discuss things that have happened.
Sounds terrible.
It is. It's a cesspool. And what this has set off for people is combing through footage of not only NBA games, but also the myriad of athlete podcasts. There's just talking, and so they're pulling these little clips and going like, this means this person's involved. This means this person's involved. I saw clips of different players. There was one of KD, and people were alleging that a fan clearly makes eye contact with him and is giving him some sort of signal that it's time to throw the something. It's like, this is a mess. It became a mess so quickly, and it's because, public trust is at an all-time low, I feel like, in my lifetime right now. You can hear a story and go, is that real? We talked about this with Sarah Spain and Angel Reese, where you'll scroll past an infographic that looks as real as any you've ever seen, and it's from a account that seems pretty real, and someone will just take it at face value. It's completely made up. We are not doing well in terms of the information economy and trust in reporting. And now we've got people who are they're gambling their own money on games and feeling as though the integrity is rigged. Because yes, Chauncey Billups was originally in that press conference named as a guy involved in the rigged poker game side of things, which you could say is separate from what happened with Terry Rozier, which was about actual in-game situation. But if you read, and I didn't read the whole indictment because I have a life, but I saw that people did, and I trust those people, and I saw them say that there is a person not named in the basketball side of things that basically said that this person had inside information about injuries, and they were sharing that before it was public knowledge with other people who used it to inform their bets. That calls into question the integrity of the game. And I actually even saw someone say, it's funny, we're taking issue with allegedly Chauncey Billups telling somebody that they were tanking before it was public knowledge that they were tanking, when a couple years ago, it would have been a scandal in and of itself that Chauncey Billups admitted they were tanking. You're not supposed to be tanking. Never mind giving information to people that you're tanking before it's public knowledge that you're tanking. So for me, it just feels like this is a huge mess that's going to affect the product in a way that's really scary to think about with the NBA. Now, it's possible because we live in an age where people do insane shit you've never seen before, and then we just move on with our lives like it's normal. It's possible that's what happens, and that the NBA is so popular and wonderful that people, that this doesn't damage it in any way. But I feel like in an era when we've been talking a lot about fans gambling a ton of money on a game, losing that money and taking it out on the athlete on social media through harassment, I don't know that we're in a great place to be told that maybe some people are getting inside information on gambling and other people are not. It just feels like a really big scandal for the NBA at a tough time because A, the season's just starting, but B, Chris, I think you would agree, even with the season just starting, there's been a lot of really good basketball. I'm not trying to be the fun police. I've said before on this show, we don't do gambling. It's not even like a moral high ground. It's literally just like it has taken over anytime you cede a little bit of power to gambling, it took over right away. It's been encroaching on sports media in a way that I was like, can we just have one place where it isn't? And so that's within my control, and that's why we do this. But but it has been interesting. I mean, I don't know if you saw the clip of them talking about it. I think it was on Get Up, and they tried to quietly remove the bug that said ESPN Bet from the corner of the screen, which is almost worse. It's almost like deleting the tweet. You're like, well, now we have screenshots of you doing the tweet, so you're making it a bigger deal.
It's like blurring the fans, flipping Kathy Engelbert
Yes. It's like we know what's behind that. We know what's going on. ESPN having a sports book blows my mind. I get it. I'm out of touch with the industry and where it's going and where it's been. I understand that. You can yell that to me all you want to. It still is you can't be the reporting arm of sports and also you can't run a gambling. I don't understand how they get away with it, but it is what it is. One thing that I just want to mention, one wrinkle that's annoying me is hearing everybody discuss Chauncey Billups like has the most sterling reputation across the NBA. And I don't want to get into it. But by the third time I heard someone say, and the craziest part is that it was Chauncey Billups because no one's ever had a single bad thing to say about Chauncey Billups. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that's true because Chauncey Billups has an accusation in his past that we talked about quite a bit when he was being considered for head coach. And frustrated me then that people didn't seem to care about that. And it frustrates me now that people don't seem to care. That this guy, he's the most upstanding in the league. It's like you can be an upstanding guy and have an allegation, but I don't think you can be the most upstanding guy that you never would have expected it from and have an allegation. That's just my own personal opinion that, please, I'm begging you, I don't want to get into, but how dare you. Also interesting, again, that lack of trust thing. The Ravens said Lamar was going to play this week, and then because they said he was a full participant in practice, and the line for that game was 7.5, and then he didn't play. And of course, people online were like, we were just talking about this. You said he was going to play. People bet based off of that, and then he didn't play. So now that's being investigated. It just feels like sports needs to tighten it up. This cannot get in the way of the on-the-field product.